The music and the performance and the fashion are one. I don't separate my art from my life. It is one whole thing.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Tom.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Patrick, and this is Chewing on Pearls, the show where we dissect and decipher Lady Gaga's chameleon career and its impact, one pearl at a time.
So we're back with the final installment of our series discussing the music videos from Gaga's 2011 groundbreaking record, Born This Way.
Exactly. Thanks
it's been
for
a long time
patience.
coming.
Yes, but we've arrived at the short film that is Marry the Night.
Right. We'll get into it. I think there's some piece of this that feels like, I don't know, like such a mountain to climb to talk about this video because it means so much to us, to fans, and we're gonna do our best with the
We're gonna build a
knowledge
mountain.
that, stream Harlequin,
Mhm.
and I mean, if there's anybody streaming Harlequin, it's the people listening to our show.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. I think it's exciting to do this episode because it's one of those centerpieces, crown jewels of Gaga's lore that like we've alluded to and talked about so much in episodes past, and we will continue to talk about and bring things back to this video.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to do and didn't do was go back to, I think it was like a Black Hair episode that we did, and I think it was maybe the Rolling Stone episode or one of the like Mayhem Press episodes where we really like pulled back from this video. But obviously go listen to those if you haven't. But I think I'm excited.
Shall we get into it?
Let's get into it. So, Marry the Night is the fifth and final single from Born This Way and was written, recorded, and produced by Lady Gaga and Fernando Garibay in 2010 on Gaga's tour bus mobile studio during the American leg of the Monster Ball tour. Described as the, quote, musical love child of Bruce Springsteen and Whitney Houston, the song is inspired by the courage it took for Gaga to return to her friends and family in New York City following harrowing early experiences in Hollywood and the commercial music industry.
Gaga and Garibay previously collaborated on Dance in the Dark from the Fame Monster, but had yet to, quote, conceive a hit, as Gaga described in the MTV's Inside the Outside documentary. On the Monster Ball tour, Garibay would watch Gaga open the show each night with Dance in the Dark. It was inspired to, quote, outdo the exhilarating, massive feeling of that moment with Marry the Night. Using electronic church bells and organs, Garibay crafted the synth-pop techno-funk anthem, which Gaga then laid vocals over immediately following a Monster Ball performance. Garibay described Gaga's energy as, quote, incomparable during the recording session, with the verses freely flowing from Gaga instantaneously.
Gaga famously teased an instrumental clip of Marry the Night in Gaga Vision number 43, released on April 20th, 2011, in which she types out the song title alphanumerically on a hotel phone. The song was also released early via Gagaville, a Born This Way themed version of the Facebook game Farmville, which Gaga co-designed with Zynga. I'm like, that sentence would break a Victorian child's brain. Like,
I'm like, subscribe to the Patreon to watch us play Gagaville.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Find us on Twitch. We're live streaming Gagaville.
Yeah, we're actually canceling the podcast after this episode so we can recode and rebuild Gagaville.
We're working on a Gagaville Farmville emulator. Yeah,
absolutely.
Zynga episode forthcoming.
Yes.
Yeah. The music video released on December 1st, 2011 on E, accompanied by an interview with Gaga in which she explained the video as a, quote, autobiographical yet surreal reimagining of the day she was dropped from her first label, Island Def Jam. Of the video's creation, Gaga told E, it was important to me to push boundaries. How far can we go with the reality of how terrifying that day truly was, and how can I twist the reality of what happened into something that feels victorious by the end? It was important to me to string these sorts of thoughts and fantasies together in my own way to create a psychology. Everything in the video is real.
The video opens with a 7-minute prelude pathétique set to Beethoven's Piano Sonata No. 8 in C minor, which Gaga describes as a comical yet sinister and dark insight into her creative process and view of her life experiences. The prelude includes voice over narration from Gaga and surreal fragmented vignettes of a hospital scene, distorted dream ballet, and recreation of her Stanton Street apartment. I'm like Stanton Street.
Stanton Street, yeah.
Yeah. Gaga describes the scene in which she experiences a mental breakdown in her apartment as the most autobiographical, with the cameras rolling continuously in order to capture her descent into the darkness of the moment. Gaga claims 30,000 feet of film were used throughout the duration of the shoot, with some takes lasting 30 minutes in their entirety. And apologies in advance, my cat is going crazy.
As she should.
She's having her Stanton Street breakdown at the moment.
She is. Cheerios are flying everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
So the video is absolutely incredible, as we all know. And let's break down the stats. Who made this short film? Oh, Lady Gaga. Her directorial debut. Of course.
Absolutely.
So the video stars and is directed by Lady Gaga. Choreography by Richie Jackson. No Laurieann Gibson. Just throwing that out there.
Judas!
Yeah. Fashion direction by Nicola Formichetti with styling by Brandon Maxwell. Art direction by Gideon Pointe. It's probably Point, but I'm like, Pointe. Wigs and hairstyling by Freddie Aspiris. Beauty by James... Oh, wow. Calardos?
Sure. Shout out James.
James K. It looks Greek. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nails by Aya Fukada. Director of photography, Darius Kanji. I did not prep for this. I was like, let me just bang out these credits real quick. Darius K. And co-stars Jenny Rostain as Nurse Blum, House of Gaga dancers as The Dancers, and Melissa Enrico as Dina of the famous, notorious duo Dina and Pepper and Dina.
Dina and Pepper video episode forthcoming.
Yes. The video was filmed between October 10th and 13th of 2011 in Staten Island in Harlem. And as we said, it was released on December 1st, 2011. The video also leaked before it was supposed to premiere, right? And Gaga, I think, like tweeted something like, it feels like someone pulled out my tampon or something crazy. She was like really on Twitter in that way in 2011, just like saying whatever.
Yes. And I think, I don't know if it was like a week before the video, but the prelude came out.
Yes, she posted just the like 2-minute intro voiceover.
Yeah, I remember that very vividly as a teen. And just to be anecdotal, I was
just going to say, I think when she posted that, she said like, this is the beginning of the story that I would never tell you, or something, like paraphrasing something like that, or the story I never told you. Yeah.
It was, I mean, if I thought like Born This Way, the album coming out changed my life, like this video coming out changed my life 10 times over. At our Born This Way party this past May, we opened the full album play of Born This Way with a little bit of a snippet of Gaga's Inside the Outside interview audio, and then played the entire prelude. Up until the voiceover part, until she's in the hospital talking to the nurse, which we'll get into. And I mean, you could really hear a pin drop in that room.
Yeah.
Everyone was so transfixed by this voiceover and this imagery, like ahead of such like an iconic, empowering dance record. I think we made the right choice. It really set the tone for the night, but it was really powerful. Like I was tearing up.
Yeah, and not to flex.
Projector.
Yeah, not to flex. It wasn't like it was a group of 15 people sitting around watching a screen. It was like a room full of 100 people.
Right.
Dead
and
silent.
It was just, I don't know. It was like for a video that for like the prelude when it came out, that I watched like on my old ass, like early iteration smartphone with headphones in a hotel room on like a teen youth group retreat.
Oh my God.
In a hotel room with like a family friend, like to then seeing it projected like that and her voice
Right.
booming in Color Club, shout out Color Club Chicago, was the full circle moment that I needed. Like, can
Yeah.
die happy, you know?
Yeah. It really was special.
But let's get into the prelude.
Yeah. So the iconic voiceover, which before we got on the mics, I was like, do we have to recite it? I don't think we should.
No.
No.
I'm like, you should know.
Yeah, you should know. And also just like go watch it and then listen.
Right.
But yeah, it's, you know, I think Gaga really nails it when she is like talking about it. She's like, it is comical. Like, it is intended to be like the most self-serious thing, but then also like clearly like she's winking at us.
Yes.
Like
She's-
knows, yeah.
She's
that
speaking
she's,
about
like-
the distortion that happens when you make art or like when you reflect on a memory. and,
She's
you're
like having
present.
a Carrie Bradshaw moment.
Yes, exactly. It's this like, I am recounting that which happened to me through the lens of the way that it felt,
Right.
and I experienced it, and to me that is truth, and that is enough. And she talks
Mhm.
about like memories being like kind of fractured and imperfect in that way, and it's sort of like telling the viewer that like, yes, these nurses are wearing Calvin Klein.
Mhm.
Yes, one of them's got a great ass. They're wearing, you know, Giuseppe Zanotti shoes. Like, this is not the clinic that I was at when this was all
Right.
going down, but that's what serves my memory of it now and the way that I want to present it. And so I can kind of like reshape my story using art, which
Right.
is seems straightforward and like duh, but also brilliant, and kind of like retroactively reframes every other single and video and visual treatment from the entire Born This Way era with like a 90-second statement. I don't know.
Totally. Yeah, well, and it's interesting because, not to get too ahead of it, but like when looking at some like critical reception or press kind of about the video, a lot of people remark that it's like, you know, it's not that zany in terms of Gaga. And it's like, okay, we're about to like go through this like art film like mental breakdown montage scene with like a dream ballet scape, and people are like, yeah, you know, it's not the craziest thing she's ever done. So it's like just like contextualizing, like we are that far into the Born This Way era where like now I think what's interesting about this video is like it was made in October of 2011. So
Mhm.
Gaga had been playing and like experiencing Born This Way out in the world. And it's like as the album progressed and she got more into the world of what she like created on an iconic tour, the Monster Ball, and then like created this incredibly dense visual fantastical world. And then she's like, okay, now I am the auteur of that world, and I'm going to like create the great unifier of everything that has just like everything that I have produced, and this is the final single from the album. Like,
right. There's something, I mean, not to be so topical, but you know, with like the Odyssey coming out, I've been like prepping myself to see the movie because I'm super excited, and I like listened to the history podcast about it, and I am like listening to the audiobook of Circe by Madeline Miller, like kind of just like living my Greek mythology fantasy again, like I did as a child. And you know, one of the pull quotes that you put in our episode notes from Rolling Stone described this video as a sprawling epic. And then as we were talking and mentioning that this is sort of about her return home to New York after these harrowing early Hollywood experiences, I was thinking, yeah, this is her Odyssey. And like,
yeah,
not just the Marry the Night video, but like the Odyssey that is like told backwards, where he's like arriving home and some poet is telling you everything that he went through to get there. it's like Marry the Night is like throughout the course of the Born This Way videos, she is going farther and farther back and
Yes.
deeper into her real lived experience. Of course, with all the fantasy and fashion and, surrealism that comes with Gaga's work at this time. But when we think about her like metaphoric birthing of a new race and Born This Way, and then we like peel back the layers and realize, oh, it was about actually like suffering at the hands of the music industry, at the hands of men, and
Yeah.
reinventing yourself. Like that's just always been that's what every video in this,
Yeah.
you know, era is really about.
Right.
And and Marry the Night like shows you.
Right.
Yeah.
I also love that it's like not body horror in some ways
Mhm.
too. Like I really love the dream ballet sequence, and I pulled a little quote. I know I'm kind of like jumping ahead, but I'm just feeling inspired because there's a lot to talk about in the hospital. But
Yes.
I think this is kind of like speaking to what we're saying about um, like the storytelling that the fashion and the fantasy is doing here is different. And Gaga said, one of the ways that we chose fashion to be a metaphor in the video is we created this twisted, broken ballet. I was never the ballerina. I was never the perfect dancer. I was always the broken bird in the background. This video is about the broken bird being brought to the front of the class. So that scene, for example, the ballet outfits are made out of rubber and the shoes are elongated and strange. And they're toe shoes, which represented some impossible Everest of my existence. And so we use them in this video as a representation of obstacle as well as a representation of perfection. And Gaga talks about the song Marry the Night being about, it's an ode to the obstacle. It is about you like putting yourself in union with your greatest fear or flaw or the thing that is preventing you from accessing that next birth. It's like,
Mhm.
I'm not going to hate it. I'm going to marry it. I'm going to make it my
Ugh.
life's work.
And calling it, the Everest of her existence, like we said, this video is a mountain. She's portraying this like time in her life as that as well. And like
The uphill. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, uh, just even like pulling back even farther, like the way that this song before the video like opens Born This Way, I think
Hmm.
speaks volumes about her understanding of it as what the entire record is about. Like we can talk about how
Right.
Born This Way, the title track, is kind of the, you know, yeah, thesis statement of the record,
Hmm.
sure, but really Marry
Right.
the Night to me is that.
Which is
Yeah.
why it's interesting when Gaga like first started, when she was like teasing a lot about the album before it was like finished or whatever, she was like, "Oh, I wrote like the closing song for the album." And at the time that
Mhm.
was like Marry the Night. And it's like, then in like the track listing process, they were like, "Wait a minute, no. Like
Right.
this clearly has to like it sets the stage."
Yeah. Well, going back to the hospital scene, we talked about her voiceover as she's being delivered to this clinic setting. And then she has this dialogue with this nurse that is very much like Cher in Moonstruck, kind
Yeah.
of like this kind of rough around the edges girl who's talking to the nurse like, my mother, like, my mother's a saint. I'm trying to smoke in the hospital. Um, and then the nurse treats a bruise on Gaga's back,
Hmm.
and that or touches it, and then tells her that she should not have intercourse for 2 weeks. And I
Hmm.
remember at the time, I don't think the intention or purpose of our show is to like talk too much about Gaga's personal experiences beyond what she has shared. But I remember at the time there was so much speculation about what it all meant.
Right.
And it like felt really clear to me even as a young person what this was getting at. But
Yeah.
I think it took a lot of time for uh Gaga to kind of peel that back. later in her career in more
Yes.
direct ways, because
Right.
at this time there was a little bit more dancing around sort of what
Right.
happened. But I think it's okay to say that like this is alluding to uh, abortion,
Yep.
following sexual assault
Yeah.
by a music producer who basically told her, if like, I'll destroy your music, you will not have a career if you do not. I don't even want to say it, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, knowing that in hindsight, like this video has taken so many meanings over the years as Gaga has become more transparent about that stuff. But even at the time, without all of that context, when this video came out, it was like very clear that she was telling us something.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember actually in high school, I remember like when this came out, like sitting in the library, like watching this on repeat with my friend Holly and us kind of like turning to each other and just like acknowledging like this knowing glance that it's like, oh, this is a metaphor. Like it could be seen as like she's losing her like her baby that is her like record deal and her album that she's working towards and the promise of stardom, but it's also like could be literal, like because at the time in 2011 we didn't know, like you said, Gaga hadn't like explicitly shared as much about some of her earlier experiences with sexual assault and violence and sexual subjugation and just some like really unfortunate power dynamics in the industry and that still exist. But yeah, no, it definitely there's also something too about the nurse who I just learned today when I was putting these notes together that she's credited as Nurse Blum. So I don't know if that's like a reference to something or like maybe an actual person that Gaga remembers in her life, or the nurse that did tend to her, you know. But there is something about the way that she's styled. She looks, I think she's cast because she has a resemblance to Gaga. She looks like she could be related, like a family member or even like Gaga in the future. And then she's styled with like that gray blonde center part wig that Gaga was wearing a lot at the time. And kind of like styling herself. It makes me think of like a lot of this fashion at the time makes me think of a Very Gaga Thanksgiving special because it's like you can tell the visual world. It's like this is when Brandon Maxwell's kind of really taking the wheel, with like some of the choices that are a little bit more. I mean, obviously Nicola's influence is still
Yeah.
everywhere, and like the gaudiness of the M&J trimmings outfit, and the like Madonna of it all, and the Mugler molded a bodysuit on the Trans Am, and the rubber and latex. But then it's like we have these really sophisticated classic moments, like the nurses in the Calvin Klein and the Paco Rabanne gown at the very end as the
Mhm.
Phoenix, or even like the leather, like I love that romper thing she wears during
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dance break. Like, but it's this interesting, like classic, almost vintage feel that we see Gaga kind of slide into at the tail end of the Born This Way
Yeah, this like
era.
ageless kind of
Timeless.
style. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
And
20s,
this was
40s,
made,
80s.
yeah. This was
Yeah.
made around when the Very Gaga Thanksgiving was made, right?
Right. And that's why I'm like
Um,
that wig is
yeah.
probably a wig that Gaga like, you know, like
Also, I feel kind of remiss now. I feel like I can say this openly to our fans or little pearls. I
mhm,
actually don't think that Gaga has ever used the word abortion. She
right.
has said that that encounter, that violence left her pregnant.
Mhm.
Um, my assumption was always abortion because she was in a clinic setting, but it's also
Right.
possible that it was a miscarriage or like
Right. Yeah.
that is like kind of beyond. After I was just like, I don't want to talk about Gaga's personal life and things
Right.
that I don't know. So I did kind of like take a leap, but Gaga has stated that she was left pregnant because of this encounter, and
Right.
this medical setting speaks to that. I'll leave
Yes.
that there. Just wanted to
Yes.
say that. Um,
Un
not to like
petit
totally
de la
change the
musique.
subject from you again,
Yeah,
but
no, it's fine.
it's like such a sensitive thing. Like
Yeah.
I think our listeners know that we care so much about Gaga that it's sometimes harder to talk about these things that are like so personal to her,
Right. We
because
don't want to be
we
crass. Yeah.
don't want to be those fans either.
Yeah.
So take that with a grain of salt. Like, we don't know what occurred, but we do know that she's telling us that something harrowing occurred to her at this time.
And like I said earlier in the episode, she did say, like, this is the beginning of the story that I would never tell you or never told you. It's like her
Right.
acknowledging that it's like, this is information that you do not know that I am sharing with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, after the rubberized ballerina dancers,
which shout out to the little fairies. There aren't many special effects in this video. They're actually mostly like film cuts and like practical effects, but like the little fluttering Mugler and giant Tatiana Lady Point shoe fairies are like one of my favorite Born This Way images ever. Like, and we see just a fluttering of them.
Absolutely. Like, it's such a different kind of detail than anything we've seen in this era also.
Yes.
Which I think
and
is
the updo.
Cool. So the ballerinas kind of fade away and we get this kind of like,
well, after they strip Gaga naked and
Right.
she's sobbing on the floor, which if you've ever been in a ballet class, it's not too far off from
Right.
the reality. Like her talking about being that broken bird, I'm like, girl, I feel you. Sometimes it's like that.
And it's just, I do love like that look also with like the kind of alien hair does sort of allude back to Born This Way, Nick Knight, something there. But we get this like interesting shot of this like studio apartment kind of bedroom that's like from like what you would imagine like a fly on the wall would see up in the corner of the bedroom. And it's just like a
looking down into
in
a diorama. Yeah.
Yes, and it like continues to play with the kind of teal mint that we saw in the hospital setting, but the bedding in this room is like bright blood red, and the lights are very yellow. Like, it's definitely playing with this like primary color scheme that but like distorted in this Gaga way, where it's like blood red instead of blue. It's like this mint tealy green.
Yeah.
And the yellows of the lights are kind of like disjointed from like what we understand like a primary yellow to be, and it's kind of a strange like we see her hugging someone, Dina, presumably.
Yeah. Well, I some people think it's also Bo.
Oh, okay.
As herself, yeah, because it was Bo O'Connor in real life.
Got it. Yeah.
That
Sorry,
took
I'm
her
mixing
home.
up the two.
Yeah.
The two extras, but we see this person like helping her undress and get into bed, and then it fades again, and we see Gaga kind of like, we can tell she's naked, hunched over a piano and like playing all of these keys with crazy nails and like some kind of like brief underwear,
like a little like
men's,
saggy
like,
panty.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like a men's cut Fruit of the Loom brief or something.
Yeah.
And then we see her on the phone.
It's my manager.
Yeah, and she's very excited. I just want to talk about the beauty here.
Yeah.
This like Gaga in the hospital, Gaga in this apartment is some of my favorite hair and makeup combo on Gaga ever. Listen to the black hair episode. I think I talk about it in that. I don't know. That was like a year and a half ago now, but she looks beautiful. Anyway, basically, we see Gaga saying to her manager with French subtitles as the Beethoven gets louder, "But I'm an artist. And I'm a star," I think she says. Or does she say that in the hospital?
Yeah, I think I want to be a star.
But I'm an artist.
Yeah. But I'm an artist, yeah.
And she kind of turns her head with the phone to her ear into the pillowcase, and you see that she is like beginning to cry and having this emotional reaction, which leads to the Stanton Street kind of breakdown moment.
Yes. Oh, yes, you're right. The ballerina's stripping her that's after, once she starts to break down, and they keep cutting back to the ballerina's almost like antagonizing her as she
Yeah.
smashes mirrors and
Yeah. It's hard to talk about this stuff chronologically because it does
chronologically,
cut.
yeah.
But you alluded to the Cheerios earlier. We
Mhm.
see Gaga pouring a box of Cheerios all over herself. She's topless. She's kind of
She has a
writhing.
sanitary pad as a bra at one point.
Mhm.
She's pouring liquids, I think, like
Yes.
shampoo, maybe.
She's
or
trashing her
something.
apartment. I mean, if we want to jump ahead in time like we do so frequently on this show or back in time, this is the Harlequin album cover.
Yeah. It
Like the
is.
alternate album cover, where she's in this bedroom with a mattress on the floor. There's this like kind of tealish carpet, and it's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And Gaga plops her ass down in that tub.
Yeah. God.
I could watch. I think this is beautifully shot. I think it is really visceral. It's almost like I've seen it so many times that it doesn't always, like, I forget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you watch it and you get to this part and you're like, oh wait, like
Well, and then also
I have an
think
emotional
about
reaction to it for sure.
She's the director on set too.
Yeah.
So it's like she's setting up the shot with the director of photography and her art director. And then she's saying, okay, we're going to start and you're going to keep the cameras on me and I am going to go for it. And they have like 30-minute long takes of her just
Right.
going for it.
Right. And that's when she says, I'm a star.
Yeah.
She says it in a heated, angry, upset way.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine what it was like to be on that set. I wonder how many people were actually in the room besides her and the cameraman and like maybe
Right.
Bo and, you know, somebody else. But it's a really visceral, energized, raw scene. And
I
when
mean, this is
people-
where like when people like people, us included, when we kind of like chide Gaga a little bit when she gets in actor mode, but it's like she wasn't bluffing like pre her being in the movies. Like she obviously has studied like acting in theater. Like
Right. But also this is informed by like reliving
totally.
some experience as well. So there's, which obviously like actors tap into their lived experiences all the time, but this is like, it's both, right? Like that line of blurring the line of performance and kind of like I don't want to say re-traumatizing oneself, but like revisiting something that was traumatic.
Well, and again, disclaimer, we're hopping all over, but when I was looking for like pull quotes and press and stuff, there was like this tinge of misogyny where it was just like, if you can make it through the first fucking 7 minutes of this self-absorbed, self-important retelling of a mythology of the self, and it's like, isn't that what art is?
Right.
Like,
that's exactly what I was saying earlier. Like,
right.
It's like why like frequent mention of Gaga's ego at this time. And we can talk about her pride and her confidence and her belief in her art and her craft. But when we're talking about her retelling a real piece of her personal history with all the fantasy included, why does it have to go there? You know?
Right. And
I
it
feel
did.
like, yeah. And I it's so funny because despite some of that critical, I don't want to call it backlash because it wasn't really backlash as much as just like criticism.
Crude. Yeah.
Like kind of like unnecessary criticism. This video in the meantime was working in the Little Monster fan base as a New Testament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is, I don't know. And it still is. It's still a centerpiece of all of it. Everything that happened before this and since this, it's like such a, as I said earlier, like such a piece of understanding the way that she expresses herself. So like I would love for some of these critics to kind of revisit knowing Gaga now.
Yeah.
and and give this the flowers that I feel it is so due.
Yeah.
And also at a time when Gaga was revolutionizing the music video. Like, we could talk about
Totally.
the industry standards at the time, but here she is putting out, how long is it? A 13-minute
Yeah,
video?
it's like almost 14 minutes, yeah.
Like, come on. Like, nobody was doing that. Yes, it's quote unquote just a pop song. Not to her, not to us. And that's, I don't know. She was speaking to us, not to the fucking world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And the fucking world didn't quite get it. Like this quote from Spin, Mark Hogan wrote, "It's hard to tell where Gaga is winking at us and when she's simply fallen into a foxhole of unrestrained ego." So it's like that was like the takeaway from people for people. I know.
So weird. I'm like, so she's not allowed to make art about herself or her life.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, Gaga plops down in this tub and everything gets a little bit more quiet and still. We see her smeared makeup. I love this eye makeup on her.
Yeah.
She's painting bleach into her hair, into her wig.
Into her already blonde wig. Yeah.
And we hear this faint voice with the dripping water of the tub singing the opening lines of Marry the Night as she does this. And there's something very like, I mean, we talked about baptism in the Judas video. I'm like, this is the baptism though. You know what I mean? Like,
of Lady Gaga,
her.
yeah.
Right. This is when she's like, oh, I'm actually going to make it and I don't have an option. And I will be a fucking blonde if I have to.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's kind of interesting because the next shots we see of Gaga, she is dolled the hell up to a point where she almost doesn't look like herself.
It's like
I've
80s Madonna.
Yes. And I believe that this footage, do not quote me on this, little pearls, I believe this footage was mirrored. When she is walking into the ballet school, because there is text on the wall and a clock that are backwards. But I think she just looks kind of different because we haven't seen her like
her face is flipped, yeah.
So it's a little odd, but she has this kind of like curly blowout and this fucking denim 2-piece with a little vest, and it's
when she looks up, it's like, is that Amy Winehouse? Like,
I know, it's kind of uncanny.
Yeah.
She doesn't have blush on either. It's like, it's just a little, she's just like heavily made up in a different way here.
Yeah.
And she's smacking her gum and we get a little bit more voiceover at this point where she says, you know, just when I thought I had lost everything, I did what any girl would do. I did it all over again. I went to M&J Trimmings. I wreaked havoc on some denim and I basically got to work.
Yeah. I still had my bedazzler.
And she's chewing her gum. She's looking up at all these dancers in the balcony who are looking down at her, much like the rubberized ballerinas. And one of these divas throws her leg up. You probably know the word for this. I don't know. Throws her leg up over her head. And Gaga gives her a dirty look.
Her
and
développé. Yes.
Her développé.
Yes.
And Gaga said, fuck your développé, and kind of gives her a little blowjob motion.
Yeah, you suck cock.
Yeah, for dance lessons.
Yeah.
Like kind of showing us this side
Tough
of Gaga
bitch.
that, like that New York girl vibe. And this clock starts ticking and you hear this chiming and it's all very like foreboding, like where the hell is she? And we don't really get an answer right away because the next thing we see is the moon.
It is.
And one of the biggest regrets I've ever made. I mean, I love my Gaga tattoo. I plan to get another. My Gaga tattoo is the Born This Way premiere performance at the Grammys. Very important to my life. Very important to Gaga's career. Love that look. My other option was this look.
It's so
Gaga
good.
With this like little bob with a V-bang.
That little fucked bang. It's so good.
And like the double winged liner. I think I didn't choose it because it didn't feel as instantly recognizable yet, but now I wish that I had. And maybe that will be my next Gaga tattoo. Who knows?
I think it should be.
But we
I
see
think
her
it should be.
freaking legs hanging out of the, what do you call that, sunroof
Of the Trans Am. And it's so funny because she gets like stuck on the car, like she's like wiggling down. And you can tell that her like skin is sticking.
Yes.
But
and there are these like
yeah.
insane synths playing in the
that are
background.
just like, and then it like will be like silence. And then it like cuts to the inside of the vehicle.
And it's drizzling, and this is where we get that famous clip that goes viral, I would say, every 5 to 7 months of Gaga saying, "There was free rain.
Free rain.
You know how expensive rain is. I told them to
Right.
keep rolling.
Keep rolling."
And,
she's like, if anything breaks, I'll pay for it.
Right. And there are some like
burning vehicles on a rooftop.
Burning vehicles around her, but then one of my favorite shots in this video is then it's suddenly quiet and we're in the interior of the car. And she has this cassette tape that she kisses, and she has this like honestly like drag
airing
dragjules.net like kind of earring on. I'm sure it's like expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, but dangling from her down her face, and her makeup is a little smeared, her hair is wet, and she kisses this cassette and slides it into the car's cassette player. Which is when we hear the opening church bell synths of the actual track, and that's at about 8 minutes and 40 seconds into the video.
And she's in the car, and she's got her molded, sculpted Mugler moment with the strange eyepiece that, again, is this like extension of this body modification thing that she's been toying with throughout the Born This Way era. And I think she even says too that it's like this is supposed to be like an inverse of Yu Yi, like it's like a mirroring of like that kind of silhouette, I guess, for lack of a better term for
well, it's
how
like
you describe
Yu
a
Yi is
mermaid.
Gaga as nature, and this is Gaga as machine.
Yeah, totally. So it is this like mirroring of that. And the Louboutin is like the inspiration here too, where she's like, I'm really inspired by this shoe, this iconic shoe that I don't think has had its moment that it deserves. So I'm gonna hang upside down in this car for a long time and kick my little Louboutins, my custom Louboutins, and pair it with the red taillights of the Trans Am and the black and the red, and like, I love this look too. It's so good.
And she, she does the first verse kind of like powdering her face in the car and kind of
smoking a cigarette.
Smoking a cigarette, sort of like leaning towards the wheel, kind of in this like soft agony inside the car. And as the beat starts to pick up, she exits the car. We don't see her exit it, but she's outside the car. And then bam.
Kablammy.
I'm gonna marry the night, the first chorus, and a car behind her fucking explodes.
Yeah. There's a great quote where she's like, her parents were like on the set, like in a car, like watching, and like her mom was crying because she like refused to use the stunt double. And she was like, I had to tell myself, if like back then, if they told me that I could stand 15 feet away from an exploding car and I didn't, like I would never. So now I can't. Like now I can't choke. Like now I have to do it. Right. She's like, that's like being like 10 feet away from the finish line and grabbing water. Like you can't now. Like you got to be about it now because they're letting you blow up fucking cars, bitch, in the rain. Like you got to do it. You got to show up. You got to be there. You got to be 15 feet away from the explosion.
And then she's writhing on top of the car in the rain, and the car is not just a prop. It is a character in this story.
It's her lover.
Yeah.
Her scene partner.
It just like seeing her crawl across the car and kind of like get her life. It is the feeling of what the song is. You know what I mean? Like that kind of triumph. And we see her kind of like fix her hair in the rear view mirror, and then in the the side mirror of the car, she's kind of like checking her lipstick, and we see her kind of like walk off.
And then we cut to the dance studio where class is beginning, which Dina is there in her tutu, which I don't know why, girl, you're in a jazz funk class, but whatever. And Richie and the rest of the crew are coming in. Mark and his little crop. Ugh. I remember being obsessed with Mark and Jeremy.
Totally.
And they were together at the time. It was like, oh, these hot guys, they love each other. Wow. They're dancers.
And it is just a funny. I've always I love the way she's acting in this because
It's
she's very
fame.
Like, I'm new.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's the fame. I'm new here.
No, it's fame. I'm gonna live forever. Fame. Like,
oh yeah,
it's
totally,
that
totally.
Fame. It's like fame
Yes.
high. Yeah, it's fame. Yeah,
and just like. It's just actually an earnest represent. Like nobody looks good.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
an earnest representation of
yeah.
showing up to like a contemporary jazz funk class at
Yes.
the Learning Annex or
Like-
the Cultural Center. This was like filmed at a cultural center in fucking
Right.
Staten Island. Like,
granted, Gaga's like presentation is rooted in that fantasy. I think of like she's painted, her hair is like the she's wearing the. Like she was probably wearing something like this, but this
Yeah.
is like the like
up to the end.
insane
Yeah.
heel is crazy. But like everybody else is in like dance class clothes. Like they
Yeah.
are not like it doesn't feel fantasy in that way. And I'm kind of obsessed with that. Like going from the rooftop and exploding cars to this is a little jarring, but that's how this dance class felt like exploding cars to her.
Yes. Well, and what I love about the way this is shot is she is the focus of every shot, but she is not in the front of the class. And it is this kind of like top down bird's eye fly on the wall of this girl who's like, I know I'm not the strongest dancer. I'm going to get my ass in fucking class and I'm going to learn and I'm going to work because if I want to be a fucking pop star, I got to be able to wiggle, bitch.
And I always thought, even now, did they tell the dancers not to eat the choreo as hard as she does?
They did. They did.
Because I'm like,
100%.
I've always
Because
thought like, girl, she's eating them
she's
alive.
eating. Well, but that's the fantasy of
Yeah.
it, where it's like she's in this room full of professional dancers, but you cannot tell her that she is not killing it.
Right. And she is.
And like, she is like, and a lot of coverage is like, this is probably some of the best dancing yet we've seen from Gaga. And then it's like, I'm watching the video now and like just like pausing on like freeze frames, and I'm like, well, and like
It
her
is, like,
in unison with the rest of the
Yeah.
dancers. It's like, oh, okay, well, yep. But she is eating. I mean, you can't. Yeah.
And there's a strategic cut here or there too.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
But she
and
does kind of fucking eat.
Yeah, she does. And there's this cute moment. They like finish the little chorus and they're all like looking around and hugging each other and chit-chatting. They just did the routine or whatever. And she's looking around the class and she's smiling. Someone's complimenting her.
Yes. She's like, I have friends in class.
Yes. And at this point, we're already at the bridge of the song where it's like, come on and run, turn the car on and run. And they're doing these moves like walking across the dance studio space.
Yes,
and
they've
doing
reached
little
the across the
spins.
floor portion of the class.
Yes.
Yeah.
And little Miss Priss,
Little Miss Blowjob.
yeah, she falls on the damn floor. And what does Gaga do? Kindness punk to her core. She helps her up.
She helps her up. She says, you
Yeah.
know what, girl? I didn't land my PK turn last week. It's okay.
She's like, I woke up today and I decided I was a superstar.
Right. Well,
So
the
I can
thing
help
that's
you out.
so funny is that they're doing like a turn sequence, and then little Miss Ballet Trina is like, let me just like do some fucking big jumps. And it's like, girl, we're not doing that right now.
Right. She's doing a little too much.
And that's why she eats it.
But I also just love that like Gaga looks at the camera at one point during this sequence, like, and that to me feels like this "you're in my world" moment. But for the rest of it, they're looking in the mirror, which is like beyond
In
the
class,
camera,
yeah.
like in a dance class, and like that feels, I don't know, like I've always loved that kind of detail that each person here is watching themselves and watching Gaga watch herself dance
Yeah.
in this study of what she was going through X number of years ago is fascinating. I'm like, this woman I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Freud.
Well, and it's her dancers from her tour. So it's like these
Yeah.
are people that she dances with every fucking night. Like they know how much this means to her to like show their craft and like the work that it takes to like be good.
Yeah. And yeah, they just mean so much to her. And
It's so fun watching them just like
Yeah.
freestyle and like pick her up and like jam out in the studio. And
I was so obsessed with this choreo as a
Hasael
kid
and
too.
Ian, yeah,
I was like doing this choreo constantly.
it's
like,
so good.
Acting like
Oh
I
my
would,
God.
I could do it. You know what I mean?
Speaking of choreo, just when you fucking think it can't get any better, they do the fucking dance break under a like bridge or an overpass or something,
Mhm.
and her and the girls just come out of nowhere doing these crazy little jazz walks, and she's in this leather romper, like Bermuda short length, like blue lipstick, little chignon.
It's one of the most
like,
insane Gaga looks.
I cannot get enough of it. I love the opening of that when you just see them emerge from the. It's like where they're like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right,
and
they're just
go.
walking
like,
in frame. Yeah. It definitely feels like they had the street closed for X amount of minutes.
Yes,
and they had
said,
to make it happen.
Go. Yeah, and they make it happen. They do. They fucking eat.
It is truly like every piece of this outfit came from a different story, and I love that.
Yes.
Like the hair, the sunglasses, the lip, the romper, the shoe. It's like it's iconic.
And it's like that little clip where it's like the ladies are coming in, she's feeling herself up, and the fellas are doing these different little like choreo
very
jumping
Richie
things
Jackson
in canon.
dance moves.
I was just going to say this is the beginning of Richie doing way too much.
Like
there is so much happening in this 10 seconds that it's like your brain can't even comprehend what you just saw.
Right. It's the, I mean, the iconic, famous JoJo Siwa dance was born in this moment.
Yes.
like
I'm
this
just like
is
trying. I'm like,
yeah.
Why did those 3 guys just like jump 3 times and then move out of frame and then change lines? Like what? Why? What was the purpose?
I wonder if this sequence was meant to be like more complex or longer, because at this point in the video, we're starting to cut between a ton of different visuals.
Yes.
We're cutting between the rubber ballerina, we're cutting between Gaga's apartment breakdown, and then we're seeing these other scenes that we haven't seen in full, where Gaga is lugging her keyboard up apartment stairs and her dad is helping her. She's going into a bathroom stall.
And she enters the bathroom, and it's the mean girl seeing her eat a slice of pizza. She's walking in holding her slice that she got on the way, and they look at her like, oh.
Mm-hmm. And she goes into the she drops her cigarettes in the toilet, or maybe that's second, but then she kneels down as if she's going to regurgitate the pizza, and then she's like, no, and she slams the door closed. And I mean, this is my favorite part of the video, the cuts between all of this shit that she's going through, whether it's exploding cars or the apartment breakdown or the ballerinas or this dance sequence under the bridge or whatever is going on with the keyboard in the bathroom. Like that to me really like feels like the end, like this outro of Marry the Night, where you are actually reliving it all and being like, wait, I can do this. It's really powerful. I've always just loved this like super cut at the end.
Me too. It's so effective.
Yeah. And just like almost ending on this gorgeous shot of her like sitting atop the car, and it's her silhouette. She's got her little hand out and her her leg
which is
bent.
the single cover.
Yes. And the flames are going behind her. It's just so evocative. And then we see Gaga under the bridge with her hands above her head.
I love the little and the little pelvic boom. Whoa. That was crazy. They were like, to the bridge.
Marrying the night.
They were marrying the night, yeah. When she does the little like pelvic thrusts and she has her hands on her hips and they're just like
right.
Yeah, to the synth. It's so fucking good.
Right. And then we see Gaga in this insanely large hat.
Massive hat.
Trying to get into the back of a black car.
Yes, her town car that has rolled up.
Yes, and she, she's like kind of being a little coy, and she opens her hand, and it says...
Well, first she's like she does a little
she's like,
oh,
what's, ooh. I'm so happy.
I'm wearing
And
my
she
blue
looks at her
lipstick.
hand, and for some reason, she wrote the full address of Interscope Records on her hand.
No, she didn't. All she wrote is Interscope Records, Hollywood, California.
Oh, really? I thought
4
it was the
p.m.
full.
No,
That
it
is-
literally just says Interscope Records, Hollywood, CA, 4 p.m.
Oh my god, girl!
It's so
She just
fucking
shows
funny.
that to the driver, and
She
hand on the
literally, and
glass.
she's like, her beautifully manicured hand, and it's like the Sharpie is all rubbed off from her like sweating. It's so good.
And then
she's
we
like,
see
"Okay."
her and the dancers under the bridge do a nice little spin into a drop to the floor
The drop.
moment.
She loves the spin to the drop.
Yes,
She does it on every tour.
Yeah, I mean it's a big part of the lore.
Yeah. And then we cut to the most interesting part of the video. Gaga, an image of Gaga emerges, the crossfades, and she's in this like red cosmic woozy world where flames are kind of like superimposed, and she's in this beautiful Paco Rabanne moment, and there's flowing fabric, red fabric behind her, and she has one of the Philip Tracy saucer reflective hats with like the really severe eye cutout, and she's just kind of perched defiantly in the flames, and the sound gets a little eerie and spacey and nebulous.
Sounds like underwater, yeah.
Underwater, and we see her kind of, she's sitting, and then it morphs again to her kind of standing, floating, kind of moving the fabric with her arms, and then she starts to ascend, and then cuts with this like very jarring kind of transition where she just kind of disappears, and there's an interesting sound. And it's like fairies and this are like the only two really like graphic-y, surreal moments.
Yeah. I'm like, she's becoming the moon herself in a way, marrying the night.
Well, I've always read it as she's the phoenix.
Oh
reborn.
yes, definitely that. And also I like my religious reading of it is like ascension, like or assumption. When the Virgin Mary died, she went directly to heaven. She just floated up there. That was like the story. Like she just went straight there. Like after Jesus was risen and was living, he was living but dead or whatever, resurrected. He just floats on up when he's done on his next visit. And this idea of her kind of like, I don't know, there is like again, phoenix, resurrection, any of that. It's like all of that imagery of rebirth that kind of to me feels like a conclusion to what we started with the Born This Way video, visuals, and story.
100%. And yes, that it's like this creation and rebirth and reincarnation have been around.
Yes.
Like that's it's like these are ideas and themes that like since the dawn of time, all cultures and civilizations have had thoughts about.
Yes, and like and this idea too of like, I love to like read into the 5 videos as kind of like, again, like different, like you're saying, different iterations of the same story over and over again, but also like as one story, we have this like mother god at the beginning who is sort of like, we see her like embodied earthly form kind of emerging as Gaga in the bra and panty with the facial prosthetics. And here we see this sort of like, that version is sort of returning to, I think, that like powerful deity kind of force or whatever. And I think, I don't know, it is interesting how the Born This Way videos like work backwards in time in this weird way, but also like cut around these different pieces of her life where like You and I really is about like her most momentous romantic relationship in her life. And Edge of Glory is about her relationship to place
Yeah.
And Judas is about her relationship to culture and religion.
Yeah.
And Born This Way is about her relationship to like philosophy and belief.
Yeah.
And Marry the Night is about her relationship to herself. So it
Yeah.
gets like deeper and more specific, but also more grounded as it goes
Yeah.
on, this kind of story. And so to end on this image, which is so incredibly not grounded, because you can't even tell that it's her,
Her,
is
right.
so powerful to me. Like she is embodying a form of power that is like not about the ego, actually. It's
Yeah.
something
It's
bigger
like
than
the
herself.
spirit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my like religious spiritual rant for this episode.
No,
if I haven't
I
had.
mean, I'm buying what you're selling.
Um,
I also think too that I'm just kind of thinking and spitballing now, just like that last image of her kind of like, phew, like ascending.
mhm.
When we see her again in a music video context, it's applause, and she's like being lowered back down.
Totally.
Yeah, it's this interesting, and it's like you see the seams, and she's on a
Right.
proscenium, and it's a stage, and it's like,
And she's back
yep,
on a mattress.
I'm back at it. I'm back on. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm back at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And yeah, it's an interesting. Yeah, that's super interesting to think about. And I think it's hard to, or is it easy? It's hard to state in words, I think, the magnitude of the Marry the Night video.
100%.
Again, like I said, in the lore of everything before this, everything after, and then more broadly, like these 5 videos as the like core of our contemporaneous understanding of Gaga as an artist, Gaga as a visual artist.
Right. Well, and not that we want to make it about this, but Gaga's first time directing solo,
Mm-hmm.
and without Laurieann Gibson too.
Mm-hmm.
And this being Gaga, like really like staking her claim to her own image and legacy and what she has built. And her, like, you may have helped and aided and collaborated and assisted, but the core of my project is based in my real lived experience.
Absolutely.
And that is actually Lady Gaga.
Right. Like, so is the mermaid, and so is the Mary
So is the-
Magdalene,
right.
so is the alien. But like, I don't know. I feel like again, it's her hitting everybody kind of over the head with being like, I'm actually being so fucking real right now. I'm being
Right.
so for real, and you guys
Right.
don't know.
Right.
But like, I think it is important that this is her first video directing alone.
And it's about her origin.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like, let's not get it twisted. There are people out there who are claiming that they made me,
Right.
but they weren't there in that apartment.
Yeah. And I think about her stepping off the stage at the Monster Ball.
And going and delivering this vocal.
Yeah, and going and delivering this vocal, and like with the energy that it has, with the message that it has, and it just makes me think, oh, she was doing that leg of the Monster Ball tour thinking about this time. She was
Yeah.
on stage performing the Monster Ball thinking about where she was. I mean, it was recorded in 2010, where she was like 3 years prior, 4 years
Yeah.
prior. And that
And
is fascinating.
And she had her friends on the road with her.
Yeah. Like it's actually insane. I think it's hard. Like I'm only through like doing this show really, and like obviously like our friendship talking about Gaga, have I really, and maybe just me getting older and having like more of a sense of how things work. Really thinking about that time in Gaga's life, from like being, popping off, and this video, it's like that was no time at all. Like it is
At all.
2026. I can't tell you what I did last summer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like time flies. Like for her to be working that entire time and to still have the capacity to share this kind of like vulnerable, intimate, but also like highly stylized world with us astounds me. It astounds
Yeah.
me. I'm like,
Yeah.
this she was at like, and I'm not somebody who's like, she'll never have that peak again. Like, people's artistry changes, people's careers change, their lives change, they change. The Born This Way era and, you know, the visuals culminating in Marry the Night really speak to a harnessing of her craft and the intersection of all of these things that she still plays with: fashion, film, um, acting, music, singing, dancing, all these things. But like, it was everything all at once.
Yeah.
And like, whoa, actually, whoa. And I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know.
The timeline perspective is really crazy. Like, I'm thinking about what you just said, and it's like, yeah, she was closer to this period of her life than, like, it wasn't too far away from her.
Right.
And she
Right.
also knew that, like, it wasn't necessarily not gonna come back. Like,
Right.
that could happen.
Right.
Like, and
And
like,
like,
she's marrying herself to the challenge, the obstacle.
yeah, it's weird also to think about, like, roughly, you know, Marry the Night, this video being like equidistant to A Star Is Born as we are to A Star Is Born now.
Yeah.
And I really do think about her career in this way a lot more now since we've been doing the show, where I'm like, whoa, like she has been around for 2 decades. And like, um, yeah, like I guess just like you said, the perspective of going through this horrible, difficult thing and like having the strength, resilience, and wherewithal to portray that artistically so soon. I'm like,
Right.
I feel like I'm just unpacking shit. You know what I mean? From like
Totally.
years ago.
Totally.
And so like I think there was an urgency there because she wanted her fans to have it. But I
Yeah.
think, you know, some Gaga historians, little monsters, would argue, was she ready? You know,
Mm.
like how did all of this kind of brilliant, you know, uh, artistry and like clairvoyance around her message, like how did that shape what was to come with
Yeah.
like art pop and stuff? And like, um, I don't know, it's interesting to think about the way that the role Born This Way played and what art pop was to be.
Right.
I don't think people talk
Well,
about that enough.
and I also think too, it's like she was working so hard and so frequently at this time that
Mhm.
it's like she was like high on the vapors of it.
Mhm.
Like, and I think a lot about like the Janet Jackson clip when they like talk about like, oh, Lady Gaga, and you met her, and she's like, oh, she's such a sweet girl, but I'm like, she worries me, and like, I'm scared for her, and like, I told her to like take a break, and it's like, yeah, because she knows, and she can see that it's like, yes, you're riding the high, and you're like creating this world, but also at what cost?
Right.
Because then we see what happens on the Born This Way ball that like changes her career trajectory
Right.
for a period of time.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
interesting to think about even that, like at the time when she broke her hip,
yeah,
it seemed like, oh, Gaga's taking a break. It was not long after that she was peddling
back
art
out
pop
there.
and applause to
Yeah.
us. You know, like she
Hmm.
was still working all through that. And sometimes I wonder if she did not have a major injury to her physical health, like like sometimes I wonder if some of the processing of this stuff happened later because there was this focus on her body.
Yeah.
Like, you are a showgirl and like
Right.
you need to be doing shows and you need your body for videos and tours and all this stuff, that like what was actually happening in like the deeper sense was not being properly addressed at a certain point,
Yeah.
because it was like, fix the hip. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Literally.
I like again. I think uh, all that is to say, like, Marry the Night represents a culmination of sorts, and also like the beginning um,
Yeah.
of where we are today, because she's still telling us things about her personal and inner world through her videos. Like Disease comes to mind, you know.
Totally. Well, and even the
911 comes to
performances,
mind.
yeah, big
Mm-hmm.
time. The performances of Mary the Night that were that happened on like different televised programs and stuff. Like I think about the Alan Carr Chatty Man performance of Mary the Night. It's one of my favorite acoustic
Yeah.
Gaga performances of all time. And just like how different she is appearing and singing that song in that context, giant pink bow on her head. And then it's like her on Ellen as the ballerina,
Yes.
her on I think X Factor with her chopped off head. Like, you know,
Yes.
it's like her
Her on top
opening
of the moon.
the moon,
Yeah.
referencing the video and the last shot at the EMAs in the Paco Rabanne.
Yes.
Her at the fucking Grammy countdown thing in Rick Janest Zombie Boy blazer drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this song, yeah, she was like, I got one last shot with this single that I think charted like what 29 or something in the States. I think it was like went number one in like Croatia or something, or like
Yeah, totally.
Poland. Like, yeah.
They get it.
They get it. No, of course they do. But yeah, she was like, this is my last go at this world and this imagery and this message. And like, I'm gonna, like, maybe this single isn't gonna be a hit, but I know that it's like every chance I get to perform it, I'm gonna try to like say something new, but also like remind you what we just did this whole year with Born This Way.
Right, right. And then she's touring in 2012. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a song too that, like, you know, I do my every so often full listens of Born This Way, and I love every song on that album for different reasons, but there's something about this opening track that like still stirs me in a way that, like, I am 14 again, you know?
Oh,
And I think the video
100%.
does the same thing, and it just it's like simultaneously, like, the song is so reviving, the video is visceral and emotional too, so it's like she's doing what, like, through the visual, through the sound, is doing what the song is saying, which is like I'm pairing this driving, energetic song with you watching me have a breakdown on camera. Like, and
Yeah.
that kind of paired thing is so powerful, and I don't think that I, at the time and since, have seen something like this for
No.
a pop release, for a
No.
pop dance release specifically. Well,
Yeah.
actually at all. But it really changed my understanding of like how to consider, like, it made art making make sense to me in a different
Yeah.
way at that time. Like, I thought
Yeah.
I had a grasp, and then her like talking about memory reconstruction and kind of like
Mhm.
fantasy filling in the holes. I was like, "Oh, duh. Okay, got it."
Right.
Like, it
Right.
just made
Right.
me like it just made me get it in such a different way.
Well, and I think that, like, I think Born This Way and that the ethos and the fantasy and the reality and the memory and the reclamation, it's like, I think that has made, like, quite an impact on, like, queer artists of our age and generation. Like,
Absolutely.
I think everyone kind of had this collective moment around this time with like a deeper understanding of like identity and uh, the perils and pitfalls, but also the power
Mhm.
and promise of like staking your claim
Reinvention.
and
Yeah.
reinvention. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like telling your own story, not having it
right,
told for you is
right.
sort of the motto here. And it is interesting to think like, yes, like, no, I have not seen something like this since,
Yeah,
because Gaga is one of one, but I do see the way that like this kind of Gaga harnessing her narrative through her artistry has sort of become the norm too, especially for women in music, of like trying to get ahead of
Right.
the story that they would tell. And of course, like it gets picked apart and people do their research and da 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 da. And people want to like write blog posts trying to figure out who this evil music producer was. And like
Right.
they want to know how accurate X, Y, and Z is. And that's so corny. But like
Right.
ultimately, it's her official statement, and it's not direct. It's distorted.
When I
Because
look
she's an
back at my
artist.
life.
Yeah, she's an artist.
Yeah. This video is so good.
I know it's hard to end this episode because there's so much, but like I said, we will be talking about this video until the end of time. And I think the culture will be.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think that's our episode.
I think so. I think that's our series.
I think that's our series, girl. Thanks for sticking through it if you listened to all of it.
It's been a second, but we just have to keep reinventing and rebirthing ourselves, and that takes time.
And Chicago summer is crazy and hot and smoky randomly.
Yeah. Things are
we're
wild.
like making it work. So thank you for listening. And don't forget, a pearl a day keeps the slutty ballerinas at bay.
Yeah, we're watching you, Dina. Notable that Pepper wasn't invited. What's going on there?
Yeah, I know.
Tune in
interesting
for our Dina and Pepper expose investigation.
Right.
Yeah, I need to know what's going on there.
Yeah,
we're not gonna pick apart Gaga's personal life, but I am coming for you, Dina.
Right. Wait, we transitioned to being an investigative journalism podcast.
Yes,
where we're like doing the digging.
Yeah,
in
Dina
real
and
time.
Pepper exposed. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you got to the end, see ya.
Bye, you little pearls.
Chewing on